Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday we have Pew Pew Rocket, a new shoot 'em up on Steam full of beautiful fireworks. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. Pew Pew Rocket from developer Star System Studios released on Steam at the end of February. If you're interested in checking out this title, I'll include a link in the description below, so feel free to use that. So here we are at the main menu of Pew Pew Rocket. There are a couple ways we can get into the main gameplay. There's this option to go into play, and this option for continue. They'll both take us to the level select screen, but play will give us the ability to look at the how to play. But the game's relatively basic, so we'll go ahead and skip that. Once here, we have the ability to select from any of the game's 8 stages, and they're broken down into 3 difficulties: 3 under easy, 3 under medium, and 2 under hard. So the whole idea is you're trying to survive in a stage till the end, setting as high of a score as possible. So the game itself is kind of a fixed shooter similar to games like Galaga and Space Invaders, where you're moving along a fixed plane firing at enemies. But what you're firing is a little bit different. So instead of firing a normal shot, we're basically firing these button prompts which, when pressed correctly near an enemy, explode into these beautiful fireworks. Boom! And that's our primary way of attacking and destroying these enemies that are above us. We also have to dodge the bullets that they're firing our way, and we have a couple ways to defend ourselves against those. So in addition to being able to just simply dodge them, we can activate a shield. The downside with a shield, we can't fire while the shield is active. After a little while, the shield goes away and we can once again continue firing. We also can use this dash up, which will allow us to basically jump over the enemy bullets. And that's what we have for gameplay in Pew Pew Rocket. Dodge the enemy bullets, fire your fireworks at them, and blow them up. So the stages last for a set amount of time, basically based off of the accompanying music track. And while we're going through the stage, eventually we'll get to the point where we encounter a boss UFO like this large one here. They take several hits to destroy, but are worth quite a bit of points. And there you have it, Pew Pew Rocket served up for your enjoyment. So let's get talking about some minus flavors first. So the first minus flavor I have is really one that's more on me than anything. So if you're playing with the keyboard, you'll get the prompts for your shots in directional arrows, but if you're playing with a controller, then you'll get the prompt in Xbox controller prompts. And for an old school gamer like me who started back in the days, well, basically with those particular button prompts with Nintendo, some of those button prompts just don't really jive with me. For one thing, I'm not using an Xbox controller, I'm using a PlayStation controller, so there's even that layer to it. But even that aside, the buttons themselves aren't familiar to me. So when I think of the A button, for example, I'm having to press a different button in my head than what my instincts tell me. And that's just being an old school gamer that's not as familiar with the Xbox controller as I am other types of controllers. So it would be nice if in the options they had the ability to go and set other prompts, if not necessarily other types of controllers, at least change it between the Xbox prompts and the keyboard prompts as well. That would be a huge improvement in the game itself. And then there's also since it's a high-scoring game, I would appreciate it if there was maybe a little bit more complex of a scoring system. Maybe multipliers if you're able to destroy multiple enemies with your fireworks, or if you were to not miss any shots, just build up a combo multiplier. Stuff like that would go and really help with the depth of the game and make it more fun and addicting, really. Then there's also just a little bit of like wonkiness. Sometimes the fireworks don't feel like they're responding correctly, or you think that they're within range of the enemy and they won't be. That kind of thing can be a little bit frustrating. Of course, then like right there, I was like several times of me just pressing the wrong button. Once again, that's all on me. But as far as plus flavors are concerned, so one thing I really love in video games are fireworks. I love seeing those digital fireworks, and this game really scratches that itch. It's not quite enough to carry it, but still, it's definitely like the thing that I enjoy the most. Just seeing those big booms and blasts of color. Yep, that is definitely great stuff. Alright, so there we have it. Pew Pew Rocket served up for your enjoyment. So I would definitely describe this title as a budget title, and as far as that's concerned, it's decent, but with some of the complaints that I mentioned in particular, I don't think it's really one that at least jives for me personally. So, thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and as always, I look forward to seeing you again next week.